Welcome back. Now, a week after the DA revoked Patricia de Lille's membership of the party, Western Cape High Court Judge Petra Gamble ordered that she be reinstated as party member and mayor. The judge also said that the status quo of the mayoral committee be preserved pending the court review on the 25th of May. But shortly after that announcement in the court, the DA issued a statement declaring that de Lille's powers would become ceremonial. Well, let's have a listen to Judge Gamble's order again.
The applicant shall remain in office as executive mayor of the third respondent and the mayoral committee as it was constituted on 8 May 2018. Will continue to function.
All right, let's get into this discussion again. Ranjani, is the DA following the court's order? Are they adhering to that court order that the status quo should be preserved?
No, absolutely not. What they're doing is saying, well, basically she can stay in her office, but that's all she must do. Her function becomes ceremonial. Now, that's not what the law and the Constitution prescribes for political office bearers. You're there to do a job. You're not there as a placeholder. So, you know, the DA projects themselves as constitutionalists, as people who uphold the law. And by doing this, by publicly declaring that they have a person in office who is there not to work, they are in violation of the law. And they don't see that contradiction. It's hypocrisy at the highest level. Particularly now, Mmusi Maimane is about to make an announcement this morning about President Ramaphosa's bloated cabinet. And people being there who ought not to be there, wasting resources, which basically that's what he's doing in the city of Cape Town.
Prof, who is Mmusi Maimane to shout at the ANC, at President Ramaphosa's alleged bloated cabinet, if the DA itself is unable to dispense justice in a fair manner, because they always shout at their opponents for not following due process, for not being accountable? They are now seemingly in violation of that particular practice. What are we to make? What are ordinary citizens to make of the DA?
You know, I'm afraid the DA's high moral horse is looking more and more untenable. And their words are ringing hollow by the day. It's not so much that one expects them to stay in love with Patricia de Lille forever. We know that you know, these political relationships do break down. But the desperation with which they have tried to get rid of her is something amazing. All the attempts they have made, including after a court ruling, to make that pronouncement that you know, she'll be ceremonial. In fact, I think it is the acting mayor who said she can go and drink tea in the office, but she will have no power. It just shows you how messy, how untidily they have tried to do this. But my own view is that, you know, the DA is failing to control its members in pretty much the same way that they've been accusing the ANC. And it's as factionalized, it seems to me, as the ANC has been factionalized. Maybe you can't grow as a political party without also becoming factionalized. But the DA is definitely in that space at the moment.
Ranjani, in the same breath, though, the judge did say that Patricia de Lille should subject herself to party discipline and that she will carry through in the city the policy mandate of the DA. What does this mean for her? Well,
what do we know that Patricia de Lille didn't carry? Do we know that she didn't carry out their policy mandate? This is what the DA has failed to explain in this whole thing. And because they've handled this issue so messily, we're not able to grapple with what they're accusing her of. And it's because the process has been, you know,
so messy.
As messy as it is. So, you know, the same thing that happened with former President Jacob Zuma. Do we know yet why he was recalled? Do we know the reasons? He says he doesn't know because the ANC didn't tell him. And we know it's something about leadership transition or whatever it is they said. They didn't deal with what is before him.
The specifics.
The specifics. And this is what, and you would think that the DA would have learned from that. When you want to remove somebody, you deal with what they're accused of. You don't trip over yourself to fall down 10 times and then try and get up and say this person must go. And that has been the problem with how they've dealt with it.
Yeah,
Prof,
you see what they did, just to add a little bit to what Ranjini has said. As soon as they realized that there was the option of using the radio interview that she was on to nail her, they abandoned all disciplinary processes and simply invoked that. And that tells you, I mean, for a neutral, you say, was there ever a case? Why were they so eager to abandon this in favor of just kicking her out? Isn't this what they have been trying to do all along, at all costs?
The judge very clear there, Prof, that whatever the politics may be inside the DA, what should not be compromised are the citizens or the residents of the city of Cape Town in terms of the municipal services. What does a municipal malfunction, particularly in a city that is supposed to be their flagship governance sort of example in the city of Cape Town, what does that do for the DA a year before an election?
You know, we must commend the judge for having insight and foresight that the DA seems to lack, for putting the people of Cape Town and the services ahead of everything. The judge is quite exemplary. Unfortunately, it's a bit like a judge forcing people who want a divorce to stay together for the sake of the children. Because they no longer care about the children as such. You know, the services in Cape Town have been suffering, and God knows what we don't know. At what other levels have the citizens of Cape Town been disadvantaged because of this big fight that the DA has been engaging in? So I think the DA, maybe the people of Cape Town will punish them in the next election, but the ANC itself in that province is in disarray. So I don't know that they will suffer as much as we think they might.
Rajan, we're out of time, very quickly.
There's two major problems. If you're a bureaucrat in the city of Cape Town, do you take instructions from the mayor or not? The DA hasn't explained that. Secondly, the DA is going to go into a list process soon in preparation for the election. How do its members around the country perceive how they dealt with Patricia de Lille? Why would anyone want to get on or off that list? Especially with the racial dynamics at play. It's an almighty mess for the DA to traverse at really the most horrendous time that they could possibly have delved into this.
All right, let me thank the two of you for coming through this morning. Thanks indeed for your time. Ranjan Mnsami and Prof. Tinyigo Malulele, thanks indeed for your time. The Politbureau continues after the break.